what we claim in One Health is that that health or the absence of disease is also a common good or a public good. Human and animal health are the highest private assets that we have. So your own health is your biggest private asset. But if you have an infectious disease where you are infected by others or you infect others, health becomes eminently social and public and even global. And this is where we declare freedom of disease in its non-rivalrous and non-excludable quality as a common good or a public good. You see the blue ellipse is between common resources and public goods, because health has a common dimension but also a public dimension. By doing this, we can apply the same economic methods of natural resource management than Ostrom did to health. And we calculated this at the example of rabies elimination in Africa. So, by analogy of the tragedy of the commons, we can declare the unhindered spread of infectious disease like rabies as a tragedy of the commons. Still, every year in Africa, more than 25,000 people die of rabies, mostly children, because nothing is done. So we have several strategies to control rabies. We can treat everybody with post-exposure prophylaxis, and we can prevent premature death. Imagine if a child at 10 years is bitten by a dog and you vaccinate it with post-exposure prophylaxis, you can save its life and you can save 40 years of productive life that will contribute to the gross domestic product. It will contribute to the human capital benefit of the country. Another way of controlling rabies is by mass vaccination of dogs. By mass vaccination of dogs, you can interrupt transmission, as we showed, and indirectly also prevent human loss and also contribute to human capital benefits. The problem of rabies is that it is a transboundary animal disease. If you eliminate it in one country, it will come back from the outside by import. And in this way, you cannot control it if you concentrate only on one single country. So what we did is, so here is the post-exposure prophylaxis in humans and the interruption of transmission. These are the two main strategies that we have, plus coordination between countries. What we did is the model that I have shown you in the first lecture about animal-human transmission of rabies, we expanded it to the whole continent. And we used the same immigration probability for between country transmission. And we calculated the resulting human capital benefits, which is the benefit to the gross domestic product minus the intervention cost. So for human post-exposure prophylaxis alone, we have this line here, the bottom line. This is the current practice. Now, if every country would vaccinate its dogs, we have slightly better human capital benefits, but they are not much higher and it doesn't interrupt transmission of rabies in Africa, because rabies is always coming back from the outside. But if countries would coordinate their interventions, so for example, if South Africa would start mass vaccinating dogs and coordinate with Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique, then rabies would not come back to South Africa. Or similarly, if Mauritania would start mass vaccination and has the Sahara Desert in the north and the Atlantic in the west, rabies will not come back from there. But if it coordinates with Mali, Senegal, and the Gambia, rabies will not come back to Mauritania, and so on. And in this way, by cooperation between countries, we can eliminate rabies, and we have the highest human capital benefits. So, coordinated mass vaccination of dogs between countries becomes a Nash equilibrium in game theoretical terms, and is also most Pareto efficient. These are economic terms. You can let it be explained by economists to you, but what we can say is that cooperation between countries in disease control will result in elimination and the highest benefits. And this is applicable to many, many other diseases, be they zoonotic or purely animal diseases, including foot and mouth disease, including peste petit ruminant, including African swine fever, and so on. And why I'm insisting in that is because we have an example. Rinderpest was eliminated by 2010 in Africa exactly by coordinated mass vaccination. And there is no reason why we should not apply this also for other diseases than rinderpest.